to another night of Nitecap. This is Josh Rimmer, along actually by myself tonight. Last night I was with Michelle Storino co-hosting. Thanks for tuning back into NSSRadioTV.com. Joining us right now on the line, 7-time WWE Women's Champion, and she just released a DVD, Stratusphere Yoga for Men, starring Trish Stratus and Joe Carter. It's my pleasure to welcome aboard Trish Stratus. Trish, thanks for taking the time to be with us.
Well, thanks for having me.
Trish, first of all, let's talk about the DVD, which you just released, starring yourself, Trish Stratus, and Joe Carter. How excited were you that this was just released?
Oh, honestly, so excited. It's first of all, I gotta say, yoga itself has been embraced, I think, by the world, it seems, lately. And so, I can tell you that I got into yoga back in my wrestling days. So to see now how it's sort of embraced by not only women but by men as well, it's been a really good thing. I felt like there was a bit of it was just kind of missing. There was no DVDs for men, like directed specifically to men. And it's something I saw in my yoga studio that was kind of missing. So to have someone like Joe on board was incredible. I mean, there's moments where, you've got this pro athlete. He's great at what he does. He's doing yoga, and he may suck at times. Because it's like I said to people, look, you're doing a DVD in your living room. If you suck and you look like a fool, don't worry about it. Nobody's paying attention, and guess what? You'll get better next time. So we filmed this in the summertime, and it was a very quick production and turnover, and then so to see it come to fruition so quickly, and everyone was eagerly anticipating it when we put out the promo reel. And then, we signed 20 copies. Joe and I signed 20 copies each, and we did it for the 20th anniversary of the Blue Jays World Series win, so it's kind of commemorating that. We released it at midnight, and we sold it in 4 minutes. So
wow.
Very well received.
Any word if that's a record at all? Because that's pretty fast to sell that many DVDs that quickly.
Yeah, I mean, it's a record for I sold it exclusively through Stratusphere Shop, which is at TrishStratus.com. So that's the first time they've ever done that. So we're really happy with that. And then, of course, from there, had a big meeting and said, okay, let's release this right away. And so now it's regularly available. And there's, I can still autograph it. I may have to go to Kansas City and get Joe to autograph some copies, but for the most, at least you get my autograph and you get to have some good yoga. So that's available on the site as well.
Awesome. Trish Stratus joining us on the show. I'm looking forward to actually picking up the DVD and watching it myself. I'm actually...
you said watching it. You mean doing it.
Well, doing it, yes. I
DVD to watch. You are going...
Exactly.
Just be clear, Josh.
Yes, I'm not going to be sitting on the couch, with a bag full of chips or anything like that.
To be honest, it kind of is funny. There's, some moments like Joe and I... It's just, what's cool about it's very different than a typical yoga video or any workout video. We're kind of doing yoga for 25 minutes, so you'll work every single body part. I made a short, concise program geared for men, lots of push-ups, squats, as well as the yoga. And then the banter between us is just great. You know what I mean? It's a lot of fun. That's what makes it light. You kind of forget you're working out. And then the outtakes are really funny. And then there's a moment where Joe and I are just kind of riffing, and it's kind of cool. He's a pro athlete and I'm a pro athlete, and we talked about the injuries during sports and kind of how to always you have to perform at your top, playing at this level, and so it's kind of neat. It's kind of a unique DVD for sure.
Tricia, I'm sure I speak for most guys when I say I'm intimidated to try yoga out. How would you change my mind?
I would say to you, get the DVD and really just check your ego at the door. I got to be honest. Here I was, the first time I ever did yoga. As a pro athlete, I've always been pretty good in the sports department. So when I went into my first yoga class, I kind of thought, okay, I got this. And it's just something that's totally new, right? It's completely new. Your body's never done something like this before. So yeah, you might suck in the beginning.
Yes.
But every class literally gets easier. This muscle memory thing kicks in. And I promise you that every practice just improves upon the next one. So I say to people, just give it a try, and really the benefits outweigh how foolish you may feel you look.
Now, Trish, is yoga a good tool for someone who wants to lose weight?
Oh, it's tremendous. That's what I love about yoga. I fell in love with it. Like I said, the first time I tried it I was rehabilitating a back injury from wrestling. I had a herniated disc in my back. So for me, I, like many people, probably, especially type A personalities, I really thought yoga was this stretching thing, and I thought, well, it's not a real workout, and what can I do with it? So I used it initially to rehabilitate my back, and it did wonders. I went back, finished off my career, so it was really good for me. But I really didn't think I'd use it further than that. Then I went back on the road, and I was using it to manage stress. And then I realized, as a pro athlete in the ring every night, it was wear and tear on my body. I realized I was using it to recover. And then this pleasant side effect came along where I was probably the leanest I'd ever been.
Wow.
I'd lost about 10 pounds, just trimmed down. It's a completely different body style. So I would say, it's an interesting thing. It doesn't. You kind of take on a new mindset with yoga, and that's the main thing. So it's kind of like you feel so clean and you feel so good about your body that you don't want to put the junk in your body. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And people are surprised at how it can be a cardio workout depending on the style of yoga, and that's what it comes down to. So you choose a style. There's so many different styles out there. There's power yoga. That's kind of how it created my own style. It's called Stratusphere Yoga. Like I said, that was Stratusphere Yoga for men. And what I did was kind of taking the traditional calisthenic stuff that we, just the push-ups and squats and really just body weight-bearing exercises, and I put it into a yoga flow. So you're kind of getting the benefits of both worlds. And I'll tell you what, Joe even tells you, it just trims you up and it just gives you a whole different body. And then your breathing's different and just everything just shifts, and it's a pretty awesome thing, I must say.
What happens if you're not very flexible? Does that... is that a huge issue for someone that wants to do it?
I think that's the number one line I get at the studio is like, oh, I can't do it. I can't even touch my feet.
Yeah.
And then I said, well, that's kind of why you need to be doing it. It's sure, it's going to work on it. So like I said, you'd be surprised when you start to tune in to your breath and your movement and all that kind of gets tapped in. Every practice just really just improves. I mean, your muscle memory taps in and it remembers your last class. And so when you're reaching barely your knees, next thing you know, you're going past your knees, and next thing you know, you're down towards the toes, and then you're at the floor. So it really is a practice that builds upon a practice.
Besides yoga, Trish, what do you like to do to stay in shape? Because obviously you're in great shape. Yoga obviously has something to do with it, but is there anything else that you do to stay in great shape?
Well, yoga is my mainstay. I mean, and because mine is not just it's not just yoga poses. I do like the Stratusphere Yoga, which integrates the sculpting exercises into it. So I have these things. They're pretty much the most amazing invention I've ever made. I've only made one invention so far, but wait for the next one. But
that's one more than me.
If you've seen the video, they're basically 1 pound weight on your hands. And so when you're doing this yoga, if you can imagine holding your arms up, with this 1 pound weight, doesn't sound like a lot, but over time, that's what helps with the toning. So, I use that, and so that's kind of my mainstay. I wake up every morning, I do about 20 minutes of yoga no matter what. And so later on, if I have a chance to get back in the gym or to get back into the studio, then I'll do some more exercise. And if I don't, then I know I've moved at least 20 minutes a day. So I also integrate a lot of running. I've dabbled in CrossFit. I've had a couple CrossFit sessions, and they're pretty intense. So I'm just, my fitness journey sort of evolves depending on what's going on in my life.
Trish, when did you start exactly doing yoga? When were you introduced to it? When did you decide that this was something for you?
Well, about I guess it's almost 8 years ago now. I had a herniated disc in my back. I was diagnosed.
Yes.
There was a point where I was, getting headaches every day, and just with the wrestling, the wear and tear of your body, it just, I guess if you can imagine whiplash motion 4 to 5 times a night, every single night, no off season, it adds up. And the doctor kind of warned me that this would add up eventually, and he said I had the neck of a 50-year-old, which you probably don't want to hear when you're, under 30. So that was something that kind of just went with the job, and a lot of the times it would take me 30 minutes to get up in the morning and just feel normal and walk normally. And especially, we would do a lot of driving between tours. You would kind of go between towns, and it was just something that you thought, oh, this is just part of the job. And then one day my back seized up on me, and I was sent home to go and rehabilitate my back. And traditional physiotherapy just didn't work for me. I was doing it for about 2 months, no change at all, couldn't sit more than 30 minutes at a time. And then, I went to my first hot yoga class, and immediately I felt the difference. My body had more mobility, had just overall, my body just felt open, and I hadn't had that feeling in a long time. So that was something I stuck with. 2.5 months later, completely reversed the damage and went back to wrestle and finish up my career. So that's kind of when I fell in love with it and took it back with me on the road. And then when I retired in 2006, it was something that really stuck with me. And then I was kind of preaching to the world. I'm like, you got to try this yoga thing. And it wasn't until I opened up my studio in 2008, just north of Toronto, Stratusphere, and that's when it helped me kind of spread the message and go, see, I told you it works.
You suffered quite a few injuries while wrestling, Trish. Do you still have any lingering effects at all, or has the yoga really corrected the problems?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's crazy. No, nothing at all from the back, the herniated disc at all. Back's totally fine. Neck's totally fine. Of course, I have little things like, missing knuckles and missing teeth and things like that, if you add it up, the arthritis will probably kick in eventually.
Wow.
But, my shoulder cricks a little bit, I have a dislocated shoulder and things like that. But for the most part, the major injury that really is the one that kind of, stopped me in my tracks, that's all cleared up.
Trish, do you think if more athletes did yoga, they would have longer careers? Could that help the process?
Oh, 100%. And I think that's what happened. I think over the years, I can tell you when I opened the studio in 2008,
yes,
there was, I would say, 80-20, if even, was the ratio of men to women at the studio. And obviously 80% being the women. And it wasn't until, I saw the shift happen probably within the first year. I think I spent the first year just kind of re-educating people on what yoga was entirely. People kind of thought, oh, it's some stretching thing, and they thought of incense and weird, stretchy pretzel poses and stuff like that. And I think it started becoming a little bit more mainstream, and you started hearing athletes saying, yes, I'd use this, and Tiger Woods said, yes, I use it to improve my golf game. And, then at one point I had the Toronto Blue Jays in, I had the Toronto, the Argonauts in, as well as the Leafs. And I think, for me personally, that's when I saw a shift in the male demographic at my studio. It's kind of like, oh, so the Leafs are doing it, huh? I was like, yeah, they've been doing some yoga. And then when I did yoga for golfers, I think people started to see, oh, okay, I can use this and it'll help me in my game, or I can use this, it'll help me lift better, it'll help me recover, and I think it just was like cumulative effect. People started really just experiencing it and seeing the difference, and it just started spreading. And of course, more and more athletes now. I mean, you could Google athlete in yoga, and you can see that just about every athlete has it as part of their regime now.
Is yoga right for everybody, Trish? I
would say so. Yeah. There's no yoga can be your own interpretation. It can be as intense as you want it. It can be, just your breathing is your yoga. It could be just your meditation. So I really believe it's for everyone, and I have this slightly overzealous goal of wanting the world to do yoga. So, I'm working on it. But I really do. I believe that, for me, like I said, I just saw the versatility of it. I saw, using it to rehabilitate my back. And then I saw it for managing the stressful schedule of 300 days on the road, with the WWE.
Yes.
And I saw it to, shift my body shape. And, it applied to so many different things depending on what I needed at the time. So I believe that, every single person at my studio, I see it. Everybody comes to the door for a different reason. And then they stay with yoga for different reasons as well.
What do you recommend besides yoga for men to stay in shape? Obviously, yoga is a great tool. Is there anything else that you can recommend?
I just think, using the yoga is like either, it doesn't have to be your only form of exercise, but it definitely kind of integrate it into what you're doing. So that's why I try to put these little programs together that if you're a runner, there's a yoga program for you. If you're trying to, lift more at the gym, there's an upper body yoga program that can help you lift better at the gym, things like that. So, I think just, simple calisthenics, it's kind of like it's been proven over time. Like it's been around forever. Just go ahead and do those squats and do, the push-ups and, very traditional calisthenics for me personally. That's how I've kind of kept my shape over the years.
7-time WWE Women's Champion Trish Stratus joining us on the show. Also, her just releasing her DVD, Stratusphere Yoga for Men, starring Trish Stratus and Joe Carter. Trish, I want to ask you a couple of questions about wrestling. Do you still watch it at all? Do you follow wrestling at all still?
Well, my Twitter timeline keeps me on top of things, that's for sure.
Oh, okay.
We have, there's a good old PVR, which helps me watch through wrestling. Time is not like, Raw is a 3-hour show now. I don't know who has 3 hours to watch a television show,
yes,
no matter how good it is. Obviously the internet is a big thing in wrestling and part of the community, just kind of, you can always be updated if you go online in the wrestling community.
What do you think of the current crop of Diva? The current Diva crop, I should say. Do you see them physical and athletic enough?
There's been an interesting shift in the women's division,
yes,
actually. We just had probably one of the best women's wrestlers retire recently, and that's Beth Phoenix.
Yes.
She's a Buffalo girl, and she just retired, and, she was great. I think she See, here's the thing. She's a great wrestler, and I think at a different time she should have gotten more attention and been a little bit more highlighted. And I think back in the days, like, we were very blessed, the days of our wrestling, because the women really had a great focus, and we had a really, strong interest from not only the fans but from the production team as well. So we just had these really great storylines and character developments. And unfortunately, over the last few years, that's what's been lacking. And I've always said, tuning in, the women's division has the women and has the talent. I mean, there's fantastic wrestlers like Natty Neidhart, who's obviously from the Hart legacy, and Beth Phoenix at the time, and then, of course, you had up-and-coming Eve Torres, and even Kelly, who has been around forever, and she was, basically took the same path I did, which came in as a pretty face. She was a model, and then she worked her butt off to become a wrestler. And so, it was a little bit lacking in there's just no focus for a little while. And, so Beth Phoenix left. Kelly has since moved on as well. So now I think what they're doing is they're focusing, I think they're kind of realizing, well, they got to just pay some more attention to the women. And we've seen some great matches from Eve Torres, really going to be stepping up. I think she's probably going to be the next leader, I think, of the WWE Women's Division. And Caitlin is a new girl who kind of, by default, kind of took this spot where she suddenly was pushed into the spotlight because everyone was kind of, leaving at the time. And she's tremendous. I mean, what a worker, great personality. And then AJ Lee, I don't know if you follow right now, but she's come up, and, she was the Raw GM, which is a big position for a woman. So,
yes.
So that's a good sign. So I think let's just hold tight, and hopefully we'll see, some of the stuff that luckily I got to enjoy back in the day.
Trish, any chance we ever see you back in the ring again?
Oh, Josh, there's always a chance. I always say that. It's like, when wrestlers retire, we kind of just, go away for the moment.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the times, I've always said this, though, for sure. If I do return, it's for a great, reason, a great storyline, a great character moment. So I like to come back for moments. I like to come back when it makes sense. Obviously there was, the 1000th episode. I'm going to go back for that. There was the opportunity to wrestle at WrestleMania with Snooki, kind of a cool thing.
Yes.
So I'll go back for these moments for sure. And, of course, when Tough Enough came on, that was a great opportunity to be alongside with Booker T and Bill and Steve Austin. So at this present moment, I always stand by. I watch the product, and who knows? I mean, me and Lita made a little reunion at the 1000th episode. Fans seem to dig that a lot, so who knows?
Trish, you've also dabbled in Hollywood as well. I was told, I don't know if it's true or not, but that you have a movie coming out soon. Is that correct?
Bounty Hunters is already out, actually.
Oh.
And that is one that you can actually just sit down and watch.
Right.
It is that was my feature film debut. It came out in February earlier this year, and awesome role. It was a great opportunity. All Canadian crew and cast, and the director actually wrote the script with me in mind.
Wow.
When I read the script, it literally was just. I mean, he knew me from wrestling, and I tell you, I'm like, oh, that's Trish Stratus or Jules Taylor, whatever you want to say, but it really was me, and it really screamed kind of my character that you saw in wrestling. So it was a kind of an easy transition, I guess you could say. There wasn't too much of a challenge. I was kind of just playing myself. And the biggest attraction to the role was that I was able to do my own stunts, and I ended up being executive producer on the film, basically I wanted to just maintain the integrity of the fight scenes. So it was a super fun, and honestly, it's done really well. I mean, we're actually talking about a Blu-ray edition coming out in the new year, so it's done really well, and it's a really fun film.
That's awesome. Trish, before we let you go, really appreciate you joining us today. I know you're a big hockey fan. Has it been tough for you during this lockout? It's been tough for me. I talk a lot of hockey on this show. And we're living in Canada here as the hockey mecca. Has it been tough for you with no hockey?
Oh, completely. Everyone waits for it. You anticipate. This is just what we do. It's kind of like, you wind down your summer and you get ready to just, watch some hockey. And so it's been kind of crappy, to be honest. And as a fan, it's very disappointing. And I mean, I guess, what do you talk about? That's a good thing. I mean, maybe you and I should change your show to a yoga talk.
Yeah, maybe.
Something.
I mean, this interview's gone really well. Maybe I should.
Yeah, we could talk yoga poses. You could actually do the yoga on air. I mean, I think that'd be fantastic radio.
I think they'd laugh at me, but because you actually would see me.
It's been a bummer. Oh, yeah, we want to.
You think Joe Carter fell? Wait till you see me fall.
Did you see the promo? Yeah,
I did. I watched it on YouTube today.
So are you going to go to trishstratus.com and order your video?
Absolutely.
Do you like the way I plugged that? It was pretty
There you go.
There.
It is called Stratusphere Yoga for Men, Trish Stratus and Joe Carter, and you can order it from the website. What's the website again? Give it to us, please, Trish.
It's TrishStratus.com.
Oh, I should have. That's easy.
Yeah, no, it's easy.
You can order the DVD, and I'm sure you have many copies available on your website.
I do. Yep, I have many copies, and the option to be autographed is there as well.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, then you can also get my original one, which is Stratusphere Yoga, so you can just get your yoga on, because you can't get your hockey on, so get your yoga on. So that's my new message for the season. That's
awesome. And any plans to do another one as well after this one? Are you going to continue doing yoga DVDs?
Yeah, actually, my next one, I just actually have, well, I don't know if you're aware of this product line I have out. It's a yoga fitness line that's in retailers, and for Zany Group, the Sport Check is my #1 retailer. But it's got, yoga products. I have mats and yoga towels and, the whole accessory line. And my latest product line that just came out was a weight set. So it's got the 3, 5, 8-pound weights, etc. So I'm going to do a video that's sort of circuit training and using the weights and things like that. So kind of more of a sculpting video. So that's on my to-do list. How does that? Would that appeal to you a little bit more?
Absolutely. And the weight gloves, those look pretty cool. Where would you pick those up?
Stratusphere.com.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, you can get them there. Yeah, Joe Carter loves them. I don't know if he's lying to me, but he says he wears them a lot. I mean, they're really cool. You wear them to go running. You wear them all the time. So, yeah, you can wear them when you do your yoga, Josh.
That's awesome. Well, I plan on trying it out, Trish, even though I'll probably do it by myself so no one can laugh at me, but I will attempt to try to do it.
Well, I'll be having to call you back now and follow up.
There you go. Trish, thanks so much for doing this tonight. Really enjoyed having you on the show.
Thanks, Josh. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Take care.
That was Trish Stratus joining us on the show again. Make sure you go to her website, TrishStratus.com, to order the DVD. I will be getting it myself. We're going to head to break. When we come back, we're going to talk about some news of the day. That's coming up next on the Nightcap. Don't go away.
But our love is too strong.